The United States has always tried to contain China because they are afraid of the new power shift globally. China has become a power to reckon with. Around the world, China is now number one in almost all nation lists as trading partners. Amidst the turbulent tide of geopolitical affairs, South Korea's latest move, seeking a visit by Chinese President Xi Jinping to Seoul, is indicative of a world that is not only changing rapidly but also demanding nations to constantly reassess their strategic alliances and priorities. This is a reality that the Biden administration, the European Union, and China's neighbors must come to grips with. Hello and welcome back to Innovative Check YouTube channel, where we delve into the innovative and transformative projects changing our world. If you're new to the channel and enjoy learning about innovation stories around the world, you've come to the right place. Please subscribe, like, and comment to help boost our videos on YouTube. Now, let's begin. The United States, under the leadership of President Joe Biden, has found itself in an era where its superpower status is under challenge. The hegemony it once held is being steadily chipped away by the assertiveness of China. Europe, on the other hand, has faced its own set of challenges, whether it be Brexit, economic downturns, or migration crises. But while global power dynamics are shifting, it's essential to point out the origins of the tensions that have cropped up between nations. South Korea and China, despite being geographically close, have not always been on the same page, especially when it comes to strategic military deployments such as the Terminal High Area Altitude Defense THAAD system. South Korea's alignment with the United States in deploying THAAD ruffled China's feathers significantly. Beijing viewed this as a direct threat, leading to a series of retaliatory measures, including a cultural blockade where South Korean music and television were banned from Chinese airwaves. However, the key question here is, why was there a need for such an anti-missile system in the first place? The simple answer lies in the rogue regime to the north, North Korea. Its nuclear ambitions have been a source of tension for the peninsula and the region at large. But instead of focusing on this genuine threat, the Biden administration, along with some European nations and other countries neighboring China, have, at times, added to the tension rather than diffuse it. Aiding and abetting this has been the U.S.'s efforts to forge closer ties with countries around China's periphery. From offering advanced F-35 fighter jets to South Korea to fostering greater trilateral cooperation with Japan and South Korea, Washington's maneuvers have been perceived as an attempt to contain China. However, one can't help but wonder if this strategy has backfired. South Korea's recent overtures to China underscore a reality. Nations act in their best interests. With China being South Korea's largest trade partner, the economic undercurrents cannot be ignored. At the same time, South Korea's relationship with the U.S. is fundamentally tied to security concerns, primarily stemming from the North Korean threat. This delicate balancing act that South Korea is attempting is reflective of the intricate dance that many nations in the region must perform. But where did the Biden administration falter? In an era where diplomacy should take precedence, certain actions and decisions by the U.S. have appeared to be provocative. The greenlighting of a massive $5 billion sale of F-35s to South Korea, in the face of China's growing assertiveness, can be viewed as a spark that might ignite a larger regional conflict. Additionally, the European Union's approach towards China has left much to be desired. Instead of forging a path of understanding and collaboration, certain European nations have often chosen to side with the U.S. without necessarily weighing the long-term implications. This has only added fuel to the simmering tensions. China's neighbors, too, have a role to play in this. The THAAD dispute with South Korea, the territorial claims in the South China Sea, and the border tensions with India. All these issues have contributed to the perception of China as an assertive, if not aggressive, power. However, the question remains, have these nations, while expressing their concerns, also extended a hand of dialogue and understanding towards China? President Moon Jae-in's efforts to revive ties with China is not just a move to improve bilateral relations, but a larger statement. It suggests that diplomacy, dialogue, and mutual understanding should be the preferred paths in resolving conflicts. One can only hope that this potential visit by President Xi to Seoul serves as a turning point, not just for China and South Korea, but for the world at large. As we stand at the crossroads of history, the choices made by nations will determine whether the world heads towards another Cold War or charts a course for collaboration, understanding, and mutual respect. However, even as we ponder on these developments, we must not forget the role played by Russia. With Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov's proposed visit to North Korea and the warming ties between Pyongyang and Moscow, There's an evident shift in alliances and priorities. The world isn't merely pivoting to Asia. It's pivoting to a new geopolitical reality. In this new era, nations can't afford to be static. Alliances will shift, priorities will change, and strategies will evolve. The Biden administration, the European Union, and countries in the Asia-Pacific must understand this. The world is changing, and those who don't adapt might find themselves left behind. If you are enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and comment. Tensions on the global stage have often been attributed to power plays, realpolitik, and geopolitics. However, it's vital to understand the nuances of individual relationships between nations and their historical trajectories, especially when it involves major powers like the U.S., China, and their neighbors. Starting with the sudden overtures of South Korea towards China, it seems that Seoul has realized the importance of maintaining a balanced relationship between its two major partners, China and the U.S., with Chinese President Xi Jinping's potential visit marking a significant turning point in the ties between Seoul and Beijing. It's evident that the current administration in South Korea is keen on resetting the diplomatic buttons. This strategy doesn't come without reasons. The Yoon administration is well aware of the changing dynamics in the Indo-Pacific. China, with its economic prowess and increasing assertiveness, cannot be overlooked, especially when it's the largest trade partner for many countries, including South Korea. However, the U.S.'s sale of F-35s to South Korea and the increasing military cooperation between the two countries signal Washington's intention to keep its allies close, primarily to counter China's growing influence. The Biden administration, along with its European allies, has been cautious and critical of China's policies, especially in areas concerning human rights, trade practices, and territorial assertions. It's also worth noting the cultural and soft power play in the region. The delegation led by former President Moon Jae-in, which included popular figures from the entertainment industry, underscores Seoul's strategy to harness soft power for diplomacy. Yet, the underlying issues, particularly the THAAD deployment, have caused significant rifts between the two countries. The deployment of the THAAD system by South Korea, under the patronage of the U.S., was a clear irritant to Beijing. China perceived it not just as a defense mechanism against North Korea, but a strategic move by the U.S. to monitor and potentially counteract Chinese activities. This led to significant economic and cultural pushbacks from China, affecting South Korean businesses and cultural exports. However, it isn't just the U.S. and South Korea that need to be introspective. The European Union and other neighbors of China have been walking a tightrope. On the one hand, they have economic dependencies and opportunities with China, and on the other, they are wary of China's geopolitical ambitions. Their stance, often oscillating between cooperation and competition, further muddies the waters. The Biden administration's policy of rallying allies against perceived threats from China, especially in the Indo-Pacific, has not been without criticism. While the intention to safeguard democratic values and ensure a free and open Indo-Pacific is commendable, the overt military posturing can be seen as provocative. There's an argument to be made that diplomacy, dialogues, and constructive engagement might yield better long-term results than force and coercion. Furthermore, China's immediate neighbors, many of whom have territorial disputes with Beijing, have their concerns. Their approach towards Beijing often sways between confrontation and collaboration. However, pushing these nations too hard into a corner where they have to choose sides might not be in the best interest of regional stability. Also, there's a considerable shift in China's stance towards North Korea. Traditionally, Beijing has been Pyongyang's ally, but recent overtures suggest that China is recalibrating its approach, aligning more closely with South Korea's desire for denuclearization through talks and negotiations. This change can be attributed to both regional pressures and China's global ambitions. The broader picture also includes Russia's active engagement in the region. With increasing cooperation between North Korea and Russia, there's a hint of a new axis forming, which can reshape regional dynamics significantly. Conclusively, while South Korea's recent diplomatic moves can be seen as betrayal from a U.S.-centric viewpoint, it's essential to understand that nations act in their self-interest. The global stage is evolving, and the traditional power structures are being challenged. The U.S., the E.U., and other major global players need to realize that their policies and actions have consequences. Sometimes, these consequences manifest as allies drifting away in search of a more balanced foreign policy. The world is no longer binary, where nations are forced to pick sides. A more nuanced, inclusive, and dialogue-driven approach may be the need of the hour. Engaging with nations, understanding their concerns, and working collectively towards global peace and prosperity should be the way forward. Thank you for your attention, and I welcome your thoughts and questions on this complex and vital subject. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing and growing its influence. Your subscriptions and likes motivate us to generate more content, so please keep supporting us. Check out this video showing on your screen right now, and I will see you on the other side.